Hello, all. It's been a while. I'll explain that in my next video. This one is for learning, and unfortunately, my camera that I like to use won't work with sound at the moment. I'm going to have to sit down and play and see if I can figure that out. Excuse me, my nose is itching, of course. I just get online. So, we're going to learn how to bind off. This is the last of the learning um, basic learning, you learned how to cast on, you learned how to knit, you've learned how to do a yarn over, which is an increase, you learned how to knit two together, which is a decrease. So now we're going to learn how to bind off. You should only have four stitches on your needle. I haven't quite got there, and yes, I'm using a different yarn today because my other one I think is out in my car. Um, Things tend to get moved around quite a bit, so I'm going to do my best to show you how to do things. And you will notice I've got a different background. Well, this is my father-in-law's living room. And as I said in the next video, I will explain what's been going on past 6 months or so. So, I'm going to knit the first two stitches just like you learned. So, you've knitted your first two stitches, which there they are, facing you. Your stitches should be facing you with your needle to the back. So my yarn is to the back of my work, and you will see it at the front. You will see that. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle, and it's going to be, and you go into the stitch. Well, let me turn this around. I just don't like doing it on this one because I can't show you. So, you'll go into your stitch, which will be facing you. I've turned mine around so that you can see it. And you're going to scoot your stitches to the edge. Hold on to your front stitch. This is your front stitch. This is the first stitch you knitted. Hold on to get your needle into your first stitch you knitted, or the second stitch on the needle. Try not to lose the second stitch you knitted because you don't want it coming off the needle yet. You go pull the first stitch over the second stitch and off the needle and drop it. Just like that. Then that is one stitch gone. Then you're going to knit your next stitch, and you're going to do it again. I'm turning it around so you can see what it should look like for you. And you're going to get that stitch that you knitted before. You're going to take it up and over and off the needle. You've decreased 2 stitches. So you should have 2 stitches left. You're going to knit one on the right needle and one on the left needle. So knit your last stitch. And again, you're going to go in and pick up that last stitch, and you're going to pull it up and over and off. Now that you're done and you've got all 4 of your stitches, or 3 of your stitches off the needle, all 4 of them have been bound, you are going to clip off maybe 6 inches, give or take a little bit. I mean, you can go that short if you want to. I would not, because you're going to clip it off. And then you're going to take a darning needle. Now, darning needles come metal and plastic, and they come different ways. You can get the regular metal needles. They're straight or they have a point. And you can get those in different sizes depending on the yarn you're using. My favorites are this one, which is called a wool needle. You see how it's got that nice big eye at the top? And it's straight. It's got a straight point. These are nice to begin with. They're cheap, inexpensive, and they've got the nice big eye. Most of your darning needles will have the big eyes. You don't want to get a small needle and try to use it unless you're using very tiny yarn. And then this is my most favorite because it's all eye except for the end, except for a little bit of edging. This is if you happen to have a very short end, you don't have to worry about it sliding out. You can just slide it down and slide it back, and it's going to work. So you're going to clip off. I'm not going to do that because, well, that would be a waste of my yarn. But you want to clip off about 6 inches, give or take. It doesn't matter. And then you're going to run, and we're going to pretend like this is clipped, okay? Then you're going to put it in your darning needle. So again, remember, you have to clip it because you're done. And you're going to run it through your last stitch. Okay, and you're going to give it a little bit of a pull, and that's going to give you a knot. Then, with that little bit of leftover, you can, oops, I'm sorry. So, there you go. You have your piece done there. Okay, so you're going to have that little bit hanging out there, right? You got a little bit of a tail there. It'll make it easier if I do go to the tail. So once you've clipped it, this is what you should have. My tail's a little long. This is where I cast on. You have to tuck that in too. So you take your yarn and you put it in your needle, and you just run it back and forth through some of your stitches. And you're going, but Kathy, I can see that. You won't notice it. Once you put it down and pick it back up, you won't ever notice it, and the person that you've made it for will not ever notice it. And you just run them through a few stitches, and then you come back and run it through. I like to do this. It makes me feel secure. You may think I'm nuts, and some people may not do this, but I run it back through once or twice back toward the beginning. It doesn't make a difference. Okay? And then you just clip what's left off, and you're done. Yay! That is done. You have made a grandmother's favorite dishcloth, but in my way. So I did change it up a little bit, but of course it's a free pattern, and who knows who invented it, but you'll find a lot of them out there, a lot of patterns for it out there, and they're all about the same. I hope that you've enjoyed these lessons. I will continue on with some more advanced lessons because you have already learned to cast on, to knit, to increase by doing yarn overs, and to decrease by doing knit two together. There are just as many ways to cast on as there are cultures. And there are just as many ways to bind off as there are cultures. And there are loads of ways to increase and decrease to make your knitting look pretty and to give it design. So be on the lookout. I'm going to be here more often and I'm going to try and teach what I can. I'm still learning. And so my next video coming up will be my Hobie box, my Hobie or hobby um, advent calendar. I saved it all to open on Christmas Day, but it's all pretty much there except for a pair of scissors, which I gave to my husband. I'm sorry, I gave those a little too soon. So that won't be included, but they look like a little guitar. Um, I could run out to the car, I guess, and get that out. And I will also have an explanation as to why I haven't been on here. Thank you. God bless you. May you have a wonderful afternoon. And I hope to see you on here. And I hope that it's been helpful. Bye.